We're at Financial Insights, but we're going under the boardwalk. Who are we going to be with? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Financial Insights off of Grissom Parkway in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on Beach Music Association International, and we're visiting with its president, Harry Turner. Good morning, Harry.
How are you, my friend?
Thank you so much for coming in to kick off the week. This is such a huge week, and what about Financial Insights? This place is amazing.
Beautiful place.
It is.
Couldn't pick a better place.
What an easy location, right between 38th and 44th Avenues, right off of Grissom on Mayfair here. It's beautiful.
Came right to it. Easy to get to.
Absolutely. On Mayfair, it really is easy to get to. And, of course, just a great way to kick off. We've got some exciting folks in this week, Harry. Muriel O'Toole will be with us tomorrow.
Muriel, well, great lady.
And on Wednesday, she's one of your neighbors up there in North Myrtle Beach. And then Donna Tyson on Thursday. And John Bonsignor. I don't know if you know John.
Well, I know he's affiliated somewhat with the symphony and what have you.
That's right, in the opera.
We may have met, maybe not have heard his name in conjunction with the symphony, though.
And he was a radio show host as well
right?
for many years.
Good.
I need to show you his bio later in the week.
Yeah, I'd like to meet him and talk to him. You know,
Absolutely.
The radio guys need to get to know
Band
each other.
together, that's right.
We'll know
That's
somebody
right.
in the background. In our past, I guarantee.
I was so excited, Harry, and reading about you and thinking about you that you had syndicated a show for many years that aired on 40 stations.
It's a little over 40 stations, 5 states in the southeast. And
that's incredible.
It was a lot of fun. It was on the history of rock and roll, beach music, Motown, soul, doo-wop, good time rock and roll, that kind of thing.
Right.
American music. And it did very well. The reason I backed off and quit doing it was corporations began to buy up radio stations. And with that came, they didn't want a certain amount of talk, and they wanted to tell you what records to play. And I came to the concept to explain the history of the music in conjunction with playing the music. And as you know, music radio has become music, except for morning DJs doing their silly talk.
Right.
You don't have much talk. So I said that's not worth the hassle. So I just kind of backed away. It did very well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm not a good one at fighting City Hall, I guess.
Well, it is tough. Consolidation's been a big deal, and of course, in this market, the Myrtle Beach radio market or the Florence market, in Florence, there's principally 2 owners of all the radio stations in that market. Down here, there's 4 or 5.
Right.
But it's also happened in the TV industry. In consolidation, there's both good and bad. There are a lot of issues.
I ran into Tom Kiner in Columbia just the other day. And, Tom's had some real health problems, but he's doing fine now, by the way.
Good.
But he was telling me he's with the Harold Miller Group out of Florence doing the morning show.
That's right. Now, that's a third radio group. Excuse me. Of course, I should have mentioned that. Cumulus, Quantum, and Harold Miller's come back into that market.
Tom would be a good guest for you sometime.
We'd like to get Tom.
I've got his number.
Can you make that happen?
Absolutely.
A couple other great ones in the PD area. You obviously know.
Well,
we talked about Clay Brown.
Clay Brown would be another great guest for you. Danny Lockamy, who's an old-time radio guy that's quite a character, would be another great. A couple, 3 other people, too.
Absolutely. Well, I remember when we were at Clay or at the Shaw Studios, Fred Shaw Studios, filming leading up to the Long Bay Symphonies event. And you and Hilda were so instrumental getting in some of the amazing guys. Bill Pinkney came in. I can't remember if Maurice Williams came down for that, but he's been down to film with us.
I think Maurice was there
many times there in Florence. And
when you say Hilda Carter, right?
Hilda. Who's that? Hilda Carter? Hilda Merritt Carter. Absolutely. Who's the executive.
She's our first vice president.
First vice president. I was about to say the executive VP, but I know she's very high up and was co-founded BMA.
Absolutely. Hilda, Billy Scott of the Prophets.
Right.
Representative Bubba Snow out of Williamsburg County.
Yes.
And yours truly. We just kind of brainstormed around some ideas, and one thing led to another. We got some other people that were interested, and we formed the association. And
the 4 of y'all were the key. I'm sure everyone was involved, but I mean, right out of the gate.
We were kind of the ones that said, hey, we got to do something.
Right.
There were others that were interested and have become much more active since, but we were the ones that came up with it.
It's an amazing, it is a tremendous group there, Harry. And I would sure want to get into the particulars of it, but if a viewer needed to get off to work now or get off to school, is there a good way for someone to learn more about Beach Music Association International?
Exactly. Yeah, the place to go is our website, which is www, of course, BMAI, which stands for Beach Music Association International, .net.
.net, okay.
BMAI.net.
BMAI.net. That's great. Well, it's a great-looking website, a lot of tremendous information on there. I know you had
Things are popping.
a recent schedule and a lot of stuff. I think I saw there was something that a number of folks that have been associated. You've got a ton of sponsors on there as well, Harry.
We really do. They help us with our beach music days. And
right.
I tell you, the amazing thing about it, as you know, beach music really is an amalgam. Well, maybe you don't know. To give a simple definition of beach music, it's that rhythm and blues music you could shag to when you came down to the beach in the 50s and 60s and 70s, what have you. And it includes other music types like Motown, soul, and doo-wop, good time rock and roll, the blues. All these form what's called beach music.
Right.
And of course, those who grew up with this music danced all the various dances. They did the pony and the twist, and all of them. Of course, the shag was our big dance in South Carolina.
Right, sure.
But what happened as years went by and more DJs got into playing shag music for shaggers, they didn't grow up with the music. They were say club DJs or whatever, and the turn on is if you can get somebody to shag to a song, and they're always looking for new and different songs to feature. Well, gradually what happened was country and rock and rap and disco and Latin and big band all became part of what people were shagging to, because the real key is to have roughly 120 beats a minute.
Right, okay, sure.
So we started saying, whoa, now wait a minute. If that's happening, and a lot of people, or too many people think that the definition of beach music is whatever you can shag to, and they shag in all these other music types and people see it, gradually the essence of what beach music is would be lost unless we do something. That was part of why we founded this association, to keep the music alive as defined and the music types we're talking about.
And that really meant that much to you, Harry? I mean, there was that much of a worry that
it's people who know and grew up in that era see and understand what I'm talking about. But what's happened is we've done some really, we put on our beach music days, which I'll talk to you about, but we've also done some real serious things. We were the co-authors of the first in the nation state bill that passed to try to put some teeth into something to eliminate these phony singing groups as passing themselves off as the real thing. And South Carolina led the nation in it. In fact, we've been praised by other states for being, number one.
Absolutely.
Which
sure.
I hate to say it like this, South Carolina is not number one in a lot of things, but we were in this. And
first in the nation. And you co-authored that.
Yes. And what's happened, though, is that it's now passed like 9 or 10 different states, New Jersey being the latest.
Is that right?
And I'm on a national board called the Truth in Music Committee. It's affiliated with the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. And Bowser, you remember Sha-Na-Na Bowser?
Yes, of course.
Guy that did the muscle and all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, Bowser and I have become good friends. He's the one that kind of heads this thing up. And it's just amazing what's happened, but we can take pride with the leaders in it.
Absolutely.
Now, that being said, what's also happened is that people from all across the country now are coming to us wanting to be on our board. We now have Herb Cox of the Cleftones, who did Heart and Soul, and this little girl of mine, real classy guy, lives down in Atlanta. He was one of the co-founders of these doo-wop specials that have been on public television. Well, he's now on our board. We now have Marvin Lashever from Las Vegas, who is the manager and has the rights to name the Platters. He's Sonny Turner, the Platters manager. He's Tony Orlando's brother-in-law. He's on our board, comes down from Las Vegas.
That's tremendous. These folks come in for y'all's quarterly meetings, right?
Absolutely. And the reason is this, I didn't realize this until just recently, but you've got Motown, you've got soul, you've got doo-wop, all these are great music types. And there are organizations that promote these kind of music, but basically do it from the standpoint of putting on concerts or museums or these kind of things.
Right.
But they're not about preserving the music and reaching young people with it. We're the only organization that is doing that, and that's why these others are coming to us, and we're just growing by leaps and bounds. And it's just I couldn't be happy with what's happening.
It is amazing to think about the early days of BMAI. I think about you and Hilda and Billy Scott and Bubba Snow getting together, as well as so many others. I remember right out of the gate, you locked up folks like Rose Rock and Paige Sawyer down there in Georgetown.
We now have the Secretary of State of North Carolina on the board.
Come on! Did you see the Secretary of State in North Carolina?
Elaine Marshall.
Elaine Marshall is on the BMAI board. That's incredible.
We also have former Lieutenant Governor Nick Theodore.
Is that right?
South Carolina.
Yeah.
So we got some politicos on there too.
Wow.
It doesn't hurt, you know. But I'll give you an example. This really blew me away. I got a call. You remember the song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" by the Tokens? In the jungle, the mighty.
Oh yeah, of course. Sure.
The kids
a little more of a tune.
The kids know
going,
Lion King and all that. But the Tokens out of New York did that originally. #1 record back in the '60s, and Jay Siegel, the lead singer, the lead voice on that song. We've become very good friends, and Jay got wind of the meeting that we were having in November here in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
A lot of these national people came down. He said, "Hey, I want to come to your meeting."
Oh yeah.
He couldn't make it because he had a conflict, but he said, "We're doing it every year, by the way, a state of the industry meeting, which will follow our board meeting." And it's going to be a big event.
And you had that this year in the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, and you're planning on doing it at the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce.
Exactly.
That's a great testament to the tie-in to Myrtle Beach.
But what happened more than that, when he found out he couldn't go, he said, "Harry," he said, "man, I've been to your website, said I'm really excited about what you guys are doing." He says, "I would like to volunteer to be your New York representative." He said, "I'd like to have you and Billy or whoever else come up. I want to take you around to meet all the key music people, politicians, the whole 9 yards." And people come to us like this, just out of the blue. It blows you away. And Bowser, we're giving him an award at our North Carolina Beach Music Day for what he's done to take what we started in South Carolina. I mean, he's just put aside a lot of what he's doing. Now, he promotes oldie shows throughout the country, but he's put aside, he's so committed to making this phony group thing go.
Yeah.
You know, that we created an award especially for him because he has so reached out to do something that really needs to be done.
Harry, now, of course, you're doing all this. I mean, this is a nonprofit group. You're doing all this and traveling all around full time. How do you all keep going? How do you have the funds to keep going?
I have my own.
Of course, I know you have your own business. Absolutely. But does BMAI ever have? Do you all do fundraisers or have a way for folks to support you financially?
We have been fortunate. We got a really nice grant from the state of South Carolina last year.
Is that right? Yeah. Great.
And we're working on a couple of 3 other grants that look like they're going to happen for this coming year, including the state. We also get sponsors. The ones you see on our website, they help us put on our 2 annual Beach Music Days, the South Carolina and Columbia, and the North Carolina and Raleigh.
Yes. Well, of course, I've been to the one in South Carolina a number of times.
Well, in fact, you were one of our recipients.
Let's not talk about that, but that's very nice. Yeah, no, that was a great that was a great honor. The Hilda Mary Carter Award, of course, Representative Clemens was up there, and he's done a lot. He has been instrumental in really helping BMI.
Alan Clemens has helped us more than you would know. He's a real go-getter. He believes in what we're about, and without his help, a lot of the benefits that come to us would not have happened.
I know that. Well, I think you or Alan had shared with me that he's even opened his office at times when you're traveling up there.
I use his office when we were preparing for South Carolina Beach Music Day.
That's tremendous.
Gilbert Cobb Hunter has been another great one for us out of Orange.
Down in Orangeburg. Great.
Seth Whipper down in North Charleston. Catherine Sipes down in Beaufort.
Right.
Tracy Edge up at North Myrtle
Hit the
Beach.
Low Country.
Billy Witherspoon, all those
Odie on down. Very well.
Yeah.
Very well. How about some other folks in the Midlands and the Upstate that have wrapped around? I'm sure there's a lot of them.
It's just the
people
list
that
is
have
endless. I couldn't go down the list.
Sure, that's right. We better not start heading that way.
And what happened? There's 5 or 10. Somebody says, "Well, you left me out."
That's right.
You better stop right now.
Okay. Yes. That was big. I mean, the BMAI has been around a good while now, and of course, Beach Music Days are really the amalgamation of what all y'all do. Or it kind of pulls everything together to highlight when you do them on the steps of the State House there in Columbia. Do you do the same thing in North Carolina?
In Raleigh, we do it on the Capitol grounds.
Wow.
The steps aren't configured the same way they are in South Carolina, so it can't work that way.
Right.
So, but we bring the stage in, do it on the Capitol grounds in Raleigh, and this will be our 7th annual South Carolina coming up May 15th.
Great.
And our 3rd annual North Carolina coming up the next week, May 22nd. They both on Tuesdays. And
so folks need to get that date down, May 15th. To be in Columbia, and that's open. What day of the week is that, Harry?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, May 15th. Okay.